Many IELTS General students struggle with writing task 1 because they're not sure what they need to do to get a band 7 or higher. But once you understand what the IELTS examiner is looking for, it becomes much easier to get a high band score. In this video, I'll show you how to write a band 7+ letter for task 1. You'll learn how to use advanced grammar and vocabulary, and I'll show you how to use templates to boost your score. If you are going to take the IELTS General soon, check out my IELTS General materials. There, I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high-scoring answers. And of course, we do many practice tests together, so you will feel confident for your test. You can find the link in the description box. And now, let's get started. First, let's take a look at the task. You recently bought a product from an online store but received the wrong item. Write a letter to the customer service department to inform them about this. You can see two important pieces of information here. First, who the letter is for, the customer service department. Second, why you are writing, to inform them about the wrong item received. How you write the letter will be different depending on these two pieces of information, so make sure you read the task carefully and identify these. First of all, the fact that it's for a customer service department indicates that this letter will be formal, as you don't know the person who works there. On top of that, the person you are writing to works in a professional capacity, representing the company's customer service department, which is another indicator that this will be a formal letter. This means that you need to use structures like modal verbs, conditionals, and formal vocabulary to score a band 7+. Secondly, the fact that the function of the letter is to inform someone means that you'll probably need to use phrases like these. I'm writing to inform you, or I'd like to inform you that. The question also presents 3 bullet points. This is really important. You have to include information for all 3 bullet points. If you don't include all the information, your band score will go down. In this task, you need to describe what you ordered, explain what you received instead, and say what you would like the company to do. In the task instructions, you will also see this. You do not need to write any addresses. Begin your letter as follows. Dear Sir or Madam, you must make sure you follow these instructions. If you start the letter in another way, it tells the IELTS examiner that you have not understood the instructions, and consequently, your score will be lower. Also bear in mind that you have to write more than 150 words. Now, let's take a look at how to write a band 7+ answer to this question. Start by taking notes. You can do this by using each bullet point as a guide. These are my notes for this question. Your notes don't need to be in full grammatical sentences. You don't receive marks for this, so you can write shorter versions of words and sentences. The important thing is that it makes sense to you when you read it back. Next, you need to know how to structure your letter. Letters tend to follow the same structure, regardless of whether they are personal, semi-formal, or formal. For example, in my letter, you will see the following structure. First, I'll greet the recipient. Then I'll write an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a final statement. I'll finish the letter with a suitable closing. The task instructions already gave you the greeting that you should use for this letter. In this case, you don't need to add anything else because we don't know the person's name. I write, Dear Sir or Madam. Next, we need an opening statement to start off our letter. This usually gives detail about why you're writing. I use a sentence starter from my template to start my letter. I am writing with regard to. Here is the full sentence. I am writing with regard to an issue with a recent order I placed on your website. Templates are amazing because they help you write a high-scoring letter. They give you sentence starters which include advanced vocabulary and grammar. This helps you get a higher band score. As you can see here, you simply write down the sentence starter and then you finish the sentence with your ideas. To get all the templates you need, click on the link below and check out my IELTS General materials. You can find all IELTS General templates there. In this sentence, I have used the collocation "a recent order I placed," which is a formal way of saying that I ordered something. In formal writing, we often use verb plus noun combinations instead of just the verb form. In other words, we write place an order instead of order. Next, we're going to write the first body paragraph. The first body paragraph of the letter will address the first bullet point. The first bullet point was describe what you ordered, so you need to include details about this. I look back at my notes and see that I've written wireless noise-canceling headphones and Model X 300 in black, so I mention those details first. I write, on the 18th of April, I ordered a pair of wireless noise-canceling headphones, Model X 300 in black. When writing a formal letter, particularly when complaining about something, it's useful to be as detailed as possible about the events. For this reason, I write the full date of when I placed the order. This is typical of formal letters, and in real life, it would also help the person working in the customer service department to find the details of your order more easily. Also notice how I use the quantifier a pair of when talking about the headphones. This is common when referring to an object or device that has two sides or parts, even though it's just one unit. Other common examples are a pair of glasses, a pair of shoes, a pair of trousers. Next in my notes, I mentioned Bluetooth compatibility and long battery life. Let's write about these things now in the next sentence. I specifically chose this model for its Bluetooth compatibility and long battery life, which I require for frequent travel. This sentence demonstrates my knowledge of relative clauses. I have included additional information in the clause, which I require for frequent travel. Knowledge of more complex sentence structures are great score boosters. If you want to get a band 7 or above, you must show the IELTS examiner that you know how to write more complex sentences. Also, you'll notice that some of this vocabulary is formal. For instance, I wrote require instead of need and frequent instead of regular. This demonstrates that I am writing for the correct purpose and recipient. This is super important. You must show that you understand what type of letter you need to write. Here, you have to write a formal letter, so the examiner will check whether you use formal vocabulary. If you use informal language, your band score will go down. I've now given enough information for the first bullet point, so I can start the second one in a new paragraph. By the way, if you want more videos for IELTS General Writing, click the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want something else, tell me your video wish in the comments so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Now, let's continue writing our letter. The second paragraph should mention the ideas related to the second bullet point, which was explain what you received instead. I want to make it clear that the product I just described in the first paragraph isn't the product I received. So I used the linking word however, which indicates a contrast. I then use a sentence starter from my template to show that I am complaining about this. I am dissatisfied with the product because here is the full sentence. However, I am dissatisfied with the product because upon opening it, I found that I had received a pair of white-wired headphones, model W110. Then I explain a bit more about why I am not satisfied with this. Not only is this the wrong product, but it also lacks the features I needed, making it unsuitable for my needs. There is some excellent formal vocabulary here, such as the verb lacks, which means doesn't have. Additionally, you can see the phrase unsuitable for my needs. This shows that you know how to create negative words using prefixes like yen and in, which is great for your band score. The sentence also features the structure not only, but also. This is a fantastic way of showing the IELTS examiner that you know more complex structures to refer to multiple ideas in one sentence. Let's move on to the final paragraph and final bullet point. Remember that you must answer all 3 bullet points that are in the task. If you only write about 1 or 2, your band score will decrease. The last bullet point was, say what you would like the company to do. I have a great sentence starter for this on my template. I would appreciate it if you could. Let's write the sentence. I would appreciate it if you could arrange for the correct item to be sent to me as soon as possible. This is really useful because it is an example of the second conditional, and it demonstrates polite and formal language. It's also easy because I just complete the sentence with what I want the company to do now. So I add arrange for the correct item to be sent to me as soon as possible. This part of the sentence is very advanced. There is an example of the passive infinitive to be sent, as well as the fixed time phrase as soon as possible. Using the passive is an excellent way of showing the examiner that you have a great command of grammar. I also want to make another request for information, so I use the linking word additionally to show that I'm adding a new idea. Here is the full sentence. Additionally, please provide me with details of how to return the incorrect item at no cost. I want to add more details of my expectations of the company. I write, I expect that shipping charges and any inconvenience caused will be covered by your company. We can see some great advanced and formal language, like the nouns charges and inconvenience. Last of all, we need to write a final sentence. Often in formal letters, this sentence tends to acknowledge that you will be awaiting the recipient's reply. My template includes a full sentence for this. I look forward to hearing from you regarding this matter. As you can see, I don't even need to think about what to write. I simply use this sentence. It is extremely formal and shows the IELTS examiner that you have knowledge of different verb patterns. For instance, in this case, after the phrasal verb look forward to, you need to use the gerund form hearing. This sentence is also an amazing example of using reference pronouns as I refer to this matter. The pronoun this is useful to refer to something you have already mentioned because you don't need to repeat longer sentence. This will boost your score in the coherence and cohesion area of marking. This area is about how well your ideas flow and the connections between them. Then I need to end my letter with an informal closing word or phrase and a name. For this letter, I use the formal phrase best regards. Best regards, Julia Lopez. In letters in English, these closing phrases are often followed by commas, so don't forget to add that before writing the name on the next line. Punctuation is important because it shows you know how to write accurately in English. Using correct punctuation will help you increase your band score too. We're almost done. There are just 2 more things to think about before you can say that your answer is complete. Those things are proofreading and checking the word count. Proofreading gives you that last chance to improve your band score by correcting mistakes you may have made. For example, you need to make sure that sentences are capitalized with full stops at the end and commas in the right places. It's also a good idea to check for any repeated words or phrases, because then you can try to change these for pronouns or synonyms. Additionally, remember that you must write over 150 words. Your band score will go down if you write fewer than 150 words. Don't forget to make sure you've done this. This letter is 167 words. Very good. You're done. And that's how to write a Band 7 plus answer in IELTS General Training Writing Task 1. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS General score too. See you in the next video!